Hello everyone, how's everybody doing, guys? Inflation news is going to come out right here at 1:30 p.m. The news that I've talked about, and as I said, I expect the news to be disappointing. Like, inflation is higher than expected, and I expect gold to melt through to the downside. Now, I'm looking at gold right now. It's in this area. We just grab the liquidity through to the upside. News is going to come out in the next candlestick, so I expect the market, as the news comes out, to push through to the downside and target these lows right here, take out all the liquidity right there through to the downside. So let's see how this goes. I will update you guys and let you know of my analysis technically and everything like that, as usual, as in the past video. Let's see how this goes. Hello everyone, this is Roy from the future, here to explain to you what happened with that gold trade. How did I technically take it? I also want to update you as to what is happening in the market, and I also want to answer a very important question. Why did Bitcoin pump through to the upside after having disappointing inflation news and pushing Bitcoin through to the downside initially? So I'll answer all those questions. Let's get into it, guys. It might fall down into these areas right here, take out all this liquidity right here through to the downside. The reason why that might happen is that inflation is up because gas prices are going up. So guys, as you can see here, inflation was more disappointing than expected. It was expected to be 8.1% and it was actually 8.2%. However, this news, I don't consider this to be like some genius prediction, guys. This news was expected. It's predictable. Like, OPEC is raising oil prices, inflation is going to go higher, and if you've been just watching the news and anything related to the news in the previous few months, you know that inflation is going to keep climbing higher and higher, and you'd know that this month is going to be higher than expected because simply they raised oil prices, so obviously it's going to be higher than what we expected because raising oil prices was something that is surprising. So that's first of all. Let's look at the charts here and look at Bitcoin. What happened with Bitcoin is, as the news came out, the market melted through to the downside and grabbed all the liquidity through to the downside as stated before. Now, after we grabbed this liquidity, and this is the big question that people are asking me, why did Bitcoin pump through to the upside? Guys, as I said, the news isn't something surprising. It's something predictable, it's something expected. So anyone with half a brain would be selling Bitcoin through to the downside. Almost everyone in my Discord was selling Bitcoin in that day. So all emotional traders are selling Bitcoin because the market is going down and they're expecting this meltdown. And all technical traders as well, looking for the news, they're selling every break of structure through to the downside. They're also selling this double top right there. So we have a huge stop losses, and this double top, by the way, right here. So we have a huge stop losses, a huge liquidity through to the downside. So what we did is, as a reaction to the disappointing news, Bitcoin melted through to the downside, grabbed all the liquidity through to the downside where the banks had enough liquidity to buy a big position and push the market up into the liquidity through to the upside and grab the stop losses of all the people selling there. And as I said, guys, this is expected news. The inflation being higher as expected news. It's not life-altering news that will push Bitcoin to $5,000. It's expected to have more inflation than predicted. All of this is predicted, as I said, and it's known. It's not life-altering. It's not like changing the state of the market or anything like that. It's not surprising, and therefore they're going to use it as manipulation. So that's it as to why Bitcoin pumped through to the upside. Now, what happened with gold? Why did I sell gold when I sold it? And I also want to tell you about the losing Bitcoin position that I took. Now, obviously, I execute on the 15 minutes time frame right there. So let's start talking about Bitcoin first. Right here, guys, I was trying to sell Bitcoin right there. Exactly right there, I sold Bitcoin. However, I was too greedy, and what I did is I placed my stop loss above here, expecting Bitcoin to melt. However, like, disregarding this double top that exists right there. I didn't expect the market to break above that high, so I was like, if it's not going to break that high, then let me place my stop loss here, stuff like that. What I should have done is I should have placed my stop loss above here, because eventually Bitcoin melted through to the downside, but before that, it grabbed me as liquidity as other people, and it's then pushed through to the downside. This is what happened here. This is what happened with my trade. Now, as Bitcoin was pushing through to the downside, I said it publicly in the last video, guys. So this is how confident I was with this prediction that Bitcoin is going to push through to the downside. What you're going to have here is the thoughts of, should I re-enter? Should I re-enter a trade? And it's very important here to be emotionally stable, to know that my system told me to enter here. Right there.
And my system also told me to place my stop loss above here. I didn't follow my system and I placed my stop loss above there, which caused me to lose this position. Now, I'm not going to deviate from my system again. I'm not going to re-enter. I'm not an emotional trader. Even if I'm 100% certain that Bitcoin is going to push through to the downside, if I don't have a book set up that is according to my rules, I'm not going to enter. So I lost that trade and I let it go. However, I also acted smart because I know that if Bitcoin is going to push through to the downside that heavily in reacting to the US news, then gold should as well. It should push to the downside as well. So I went to gold. Let's go to gold. So guys, after I lost my trade on Bitcoin, I came to gold to look for a book setup. I didn't want to re-enter emotionally on Bitcoin. So I came to gold to look for a book setup to execute to be on this move through to the downside. And what I immediately found is a 3 drive pattern through to the upside. Right here we have 1, 2, 3 drives. And guys, one of the most important rules when trading a 3 drive pattern, I'll tell you, 2, 3. So one of the most important rules in trading a 3 drive pattern is to actually look for the 3rd drive to take out liquidity through to the upside. Now, as you guys can see here, in the 3rd drive, we formed liquidity through to the upside right there. And after that, we grabbed this double top right here through to the upside, and the news should have came out at 130 right here. The disappointing inflation news should have came out at 130. So whoever's manipulating the market bought here right there, pushed the market up, grabbed the liquidity of those double top sellers, sold here, and the market started pushing through to the downside. At the break of this right here, I immediately sold gold and I benefited from this push right there, as you can see on the screen and as you can see on the charts somewhere. I put up a screenshot. So what I want you to know in this video is that in the last video I've taught you that the banks, they buy to sell or they sell to buy whenever they want to manipulate the market, whenever they want to enter the market. In this case, they bought to sell. They bought here, grabbed this double top right there, and then sold right here and pushed the market through to the downside. And that was my book setup on gold. So I hope, guys, that you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments. Let me know on my Discord, let me know on my Instagram if you've enjoyed it, and that's it. Subscribe, notifications, all that usual stuff, and good luck.